Does this sound familiar? You walk into a meeting. Everyone's taking notes. You're nodding along looking engaged, but inside, you're panicking because you can't keep up. Or maybe you're brilliant at your job, but you turned down that promotion because it involved too much writing. Here's the thing, you're not alone, and you're definitely not broken. I'm about to tell you a story that will completely change how you see yourself. Ready? Picture this, baby elephant gets tied to a tiny wooden peg with a rope. It struggles, fights, tries to break free, but can't. So it gives up. Years later, that elephant weighs 4 tons. One tug and that rope would snap like a twig. But it doesn't even try. Why? The rope isn't holding it anymore. It's all in its head. That's you. That's me. That's every single person with dyslexia or ADHD who thinks they just can't learn or have a terrible memory. But what if I told you that rope doesn't actually exist? The shocking truth. Here's what they don't tell you. 1 in 10 people has dyslexia. You heard me right, 1 in 10. That's someone in every meeting, every team, every classroom. But 80% of us, we hide it. We work twice as hard for half the result. We stay quiet in meetings. We avoid anything that might expose us. And here's the kicker. The same brain that makes reading hard, it makes you brilliant at other things. My story, I failed every single GCSE. Every single one. I was so ashamed I couldn't even face collecting my results with everyone else. I snuck back to school days later when no one was around. I didn't want anyone to ask me, what did you get? Picked up that envelope, glanced at the disaster inside, shoved it in my pocket, and eventually threw it in the bin. That piece of paper felt like proof that I was just stupid. So I gave up on learning. Went straight into work thinking, well, at least I tried. But then something weird happened. I became absolutely incredible at sales. Not just good, the best. Top of the leaderboard month after month. Billionaires, ambassadors, CEOs. They all wanted to work with me. But here's the thing, I was still hiding, still avoiding anything that involved writing reports or presenting. Still convinced that one day, someone would figure out I wasn't actually smart. Total imposter syndrome. For me, it wasn't just the reading struggles. My brain would start on one task and bam, suddenly I'm thinking about something completely different. I'd start writing a report and 5 minutes later I'm chasing some random thought. Not laziness, just different wiring. Sound familiar? Then I discovered something that blew my mind. Neuroscience research. That's the study of how our brains actually work. Shows that dyslexic brains aren't broken. They're just different. We're visual thinkers, pattern spotters, problem solvers. We see the big picture while everyone else is stuck in the details. Want proof? Companies with neurodivergent teams are 30% more productive. Because while everyone else is thinking in straight lines, we're seeing connections they completely miss. And here's the best part. Your brain can literally rewire itself at any age. It's called neuroplasticity, and it means your memory can go from your biggest weakness to your greatest strength. But why does memory even matter when we have Google and AI? Simple. AI can store facts, but only you can walk into a room and remember everyone's name, their story, their challenges. That's how you build trust. That's how you show confidence. That's what sets you apart. I spent years learning memory techniques that actually worked with my brain instead of against it. Went back to university. Graduated with an upper second class degree. Now I give hour-long speeches without a single note. But here's my favorite part. I've taught these techniques to thousands of people. Like Sarah, who went from apologizing for forgetting names to remembering 15 executives' details in one meeting and landing her dream promotion. If it worked for me, the guy who failed everything at school, and if it worked for Sarah and thousands of others, it'll work for you too. This course uses something called the 10-20-70 rule. 10% learning the concept, 20% watching it in action, 70% actually doing it yourself. We cover visual learning, audio learning, hands-on learning. Because whether you're dyslexic, ADHD, or both, your brain is going to love this approach. Companies are desperately seeking people who think like us. You're not trying to fit into their world anymore. They're trying to access yours. If memory mastery could change my life, it can change yours too, no matter what you've been told before. By the end of this course, you'll memorize 50+ items easily. You'll present without notes. You'll remember every client's story. You'll build memory palaces using your natural visual strengths. The shame you carried at school will no longer define you. The very differences that made you doubt yourself will now set you apart. That invisible rope, it's about to snap forever. Your transformation starts right now.